What happened to the overbreadth doctrine? I mean, I thought our doctrine in the First Amendment is if you write it too broadly, we're not going to pare it back to the point where it's constitutional. If it's overbroad, it's invalid. What happened to that?
I don't think that it would be substantially overbroad, Justice Scalia, if I tell you that the FEC has never applied this statute to a book. To say that it doesn't apply to books is to take off, essentially nothing from
we don't put our First Amendment rights in the hands of FEC.
We'll play it in its entirety, unedited, near the end of the hour, but you hear the spin. Well, I'm not going to remove the part that we can ban books because we've never decided to do that. But we're going to keep that power, though, because we like it. We're thugs.
Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
The Fall of America and the Western World is an all-new 10-hour documentary and survival guide rolled into one. In this film, you will see the reasons why our government is failing and what you can do to prepare. Featuring Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, Joseph Farah, David Icke, Naomi Wolf, G. Edward Griffin, Doug McIntyre, Mark Crispin Miller, Mickey Z, Doug Casey, David McIlvaney, and myself, Alex Jones. Protect yourself and get the tools you need to protect your family from these difficult times. The Fall of America and the Western World at www.thefallofamerica.net or click on the banners at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Again, that website, www.thefallofamerica.net or call 800-655-1577. Prepare yourself and the ones you love today. Fallofamerica.net. Let me tell you a little bit about one of our great sponsors, HomeGain.com. This is the place to get you started buying or selling a home, finding a realtor, and getting any real estate questions answered. Go to HomeGain.com and see what I'm talking about. All you need to do is type in your home address, and you will get an instant free estimate of your home's value online. This is a great way to be able to monitor the value of your home. And again, it's absolutely free. There are tons of tools to help you. For instance, if you want to remodel your home, go to HomeGain.com. Use their Home Sale Maximizer to help you determine which home improvements can most increase your home's value before you put it on the market. For 10 years, these folks have been helping home sellers and buyers. Visit their link at Infowars.com. Look for Max, the orange Home Gain Gorilla, to help you with any real estate needs you might have. You'll love this site. It's HomeGain.com. HomeGain.com. Check them out today.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Okay, this is breaking exclusive information. We are 8 minutes into the third hour today. Brigitte Jones-Dottier, who led the charge in the Icelandic parliament to say no to the Goldman Sachs looting of her country. They've successfully seized Greece after selling them derivatives. They've also got it through their parliament to create a media haven for internet freedom. We'll talk about that with her. They just had a conference in Europe dealing with the persecution of free speech. I just covered mainstream news in the U.S. where they're arresting people that send emails to senators who annoy them. You get charged with felonies. So that is going on. But Brigitte Jones-Dottier joins us, and we're really honored to have her. She's a member of the Icelandic Parliament for the Movement Party Group chairperson, and we really appreciate her coming on with us. She's on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Environmental Committee, EU Application Committee, Truth Commission Committee, and the NATO Committee. Brigitte Jones-Dottier, became a member in 2009, and is now a worldwide leader known for standing up for freedom. Also, when she was on with us last year for the first time, I noticed that Julian Assange, if I'm pronouncing that right, the founder of WikiLeaks, was in the background. Jerem was pointing out, I think the WikiLeaks founder is in her house. Yeah, there he is. and then now, of course, he's internationally sought. The Pentagon admits they have a task force out. The Pentagon Papers, Daniel Ellsberg, told MSNBC that he had a hit team out trying to kill him, and that he believes there may be a Pentagon hit team out that's been declassified with the Pentagon Papers trying to go after the WikiLeaks founder. And he put out an email 2 weeks ago saying she is now basically his spokesman. And so we're talking to her, and she did work with him, she can say, on the helicopter slaughter video in Baghdad. He's reportedly got hundreds of other things he could release. And I said to her during the break, I said, look, Birgitta, especially you, intelligent, lovely, smart, dynamic, we want you to stay alive. You guys better release everything you got and quick. And she said, I agree. So we'll hear that in her own words. Good to have you here with us.
Well, good to be back.
Okay, I mean, let's go through this, your relationship to WikiLeaks, who Julian is for those that, I mean, he's the guy on television in the black suit with the red tie and the blonde platinum hair, folks, the founder of WikiLeaks. I mean, how this saga has been unfolding. Give us basically a boil down, and then let's start wherever you like.
Okay, well, WikiLeaks became instantly famous in Iceland in August last year when there was an injunction on a story that they had actually leaked. It was an injunction not on our national television not to broadcast the news about the leak. It was a loan book from one of the big banks. So instead of saying nothing, the broadcaster decided to put a picture of the website on the TV and the URL, and said you can read all about it there. So they became instantly known here and very well thought of. In December, I was invited to speak at a conference about the freedom, and WikiLeaks were there also here at the Reykjavik University. And they were introducing or discussing an idea about a press haven, or sort of taking the idea behind tax havens and reversing it into transparency haven.
Birgitta, I hate to bug you, but your Skype was down today, or we couldn't connect to Iceland, and your cell phone is I can hear you, but I've got to really focus. Can you try putting the receiver closer to your mouth?
Yep. Is this better?
John, that's better, isn't it? Yeah, keep going.
Okay, so I approached them and said, you know, coming from the background of being a writer, journalist, activist, and one of the pioneers in bringing the internet to Iceland, I approached them and I said, let's do this, because I understood the scope of it, and I understood that every day these basic rights that we sort of take for granted when it comes to freedom of information, freedom of expression and speech are being carefully eroded from us. And like in the UK, they have used, and in Europe in general, they have used the Anti-Terrorist Act to chip away this freedom at such a pace that people don't really realize how much of these freedoms have been taken away from us. And now they've started with all these filtering, using child pornography filters as the reason for filtering out all sorts of stuff, including WikiLeaks. Just heard today.
Well, large wireless networks all over Europe block Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Paul Watson's written stories about that, and they admit in Australia their Chinese net-style censorship program, for those who just joined us, admittedly will use government software to track what you're looking at and blocking things from pro-life groups to environmental groups to local dentists in Australia. And we now know that they have the Cybersecurity Act to do the same thing here in the United States, and the FCC says you'll have a black box at the ISP and in your home. So this is really happening.
This has to be stopped, because if we don't have access to information, how in the world are both the general public and legislators going to be able to take enlightened decisions based on reality? I mean, just like what's happening in the UK is that they have passed all these super injunctions, meaning that journalists cannot tell that they can't tell the stories. And I think this is very serious.
Yeah, they call that a D notice in England, for those that don't know. You may see a cop murder someone, and they'll just issue a D notice. They're issuing a lot more of them now. And similarly, here in the U.S., cops will say you can't videotape what they're doing 100 yards away, and they'll arrest you even though there's no law. They claim it's wiretapping when there's no perception of privacy. So there's a real tyranny here against the new media, and the old media is in trouble and losing its viewers and readers, so it's teaming up with government and corrupt corporations in a perfect storm and openly